start. Mitana.
Sir, sir, Markan sir will give me the signal once he goes live on
yes,
YouTube.
Then,
can
yes,
I?
Sir. Yes, ma'am.
Please start.
Done, ma'am. Done. You can start live. Live already started.
Okay. A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all are doing well in this tough and testing times of COVID-19 pandemic. We are going through a lot of uncertainty and negativity around us for sure. Well, this webinar today is not to remind us of what is happening around us and something that we are already facing. Rather, it will help us to cope up with this scenario. So, on behalf of the proud family of Devaditya Foundation, I, Dr. Meeta Shah, I extend a very warm and hearty welcome to all of you for a transforming session on an introduction to transpersonal development. I feel privileged to be your host today and welcome you all to this determined and dedicated community. It is my pleasure to welcome all the participants for this international webinar. I also extend a hearty welcome to our eminent guest speakers from all over the globe and different walks of life who have come here to share their knowledge and vast experience, of course. Let us understand the term transpersonal. The term is used by different schools of philosophy and psychology in order to describe experiences and worldviews that extend beyond the personal level of the psyche. So we can say that transpersonal means extending or going beyond the personal or individual capacity. The term transpersonal has been defined as experiences in which the sense of identity or self extends beyond trans, the individual or personal, to encompass wider aspects of humankind, life, psyche, or cosmos. On the other hand, transpersonal practices are those structured activities that focus on inducing transpersonal experiences. Thus, transpersonal development is development beyond conventional, personal, and individual levels. It is associated with a developmental model of psychology that includes three successive stages. The first is the pre-personal, that is before ego formation. The second is the personal, that is when we have that functioning ego in us. And the third, the transpersonal, that is ego remains available, but it is superseded by higher developments. The term is related to the terminology of peak experiences, altered state of consciousness, and spiritual experiences. To a certain extent, as I am a faculty of management, I wanted to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs over here. To a certain extent, we can understand this topic with Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory, which speaks about the development of needs of human from basic needs to security needs, social needs, status needs, and ultimately the stage of self-actualization. Very few of us are able to reach the topmost level of the pyramid. Maybe because we are so engrossed in fulfilling our basic needs and social needs and security needs that we rarely get an opportunity to reach the stage of self-actualization. With our current experiences and uncertainty around, there is immense need to discover ourselves and our hidden potential, which will help us to develop a coping mechanism, which is very much required in the current scenario. This webinar is a small and considerate initiative from Devaditya Foundation to enlighten the mass on such a fruitful topic. The year 2020 has been the one of turbulence and disruption that will have a far-reaching impact on everyone, and we are seeing it well. Even so many months have passed in the year 2021, but we have not yet been able to overcome the damage that we have faced in the year 2020. Humankind is going through a new and unprecedented experiences with the effect of COVID-19 pandemic. The current crisis is not of the pandemic alone. Rather, it is of the far-reaching consequences on human behavior. Addressing these repercussions should not be limited to taking ad hoc costly measures limited to the current situation, but should prompt us to think about putting into place innovative measures and actions that go beyond the pandemic. The pandemic has taken a toll on our mental health as well. So much of negativity, bereavement, isolation, loss of income, and fear are triggering mental health conditions. Many people may be facing increased levels of alcohol and drug use, insomnia, and anxiety. Good mental health is absolutely fundamental to overall health and well being. This year has changed the world forever. For each of us, life is going to be marked in two periods: pre COVID era and the post COVID era. As lockdown and mobility restrictions came into force, one of the sources of solace was the realization of self. So, with so much of negativity around us, we need to consider transpersonal development. Some tips that I could think of from my side through the readings that I have gone through can be music therapy, visualization, gaining peak experiences, uh, just relating to near death experiences, meditation, including mindfulness, spirituality, and psychology. Now, without taking much of your time, I would introduce our eminent guest for today. Our first guest for this webinar is Ma'am Masha Malka from Spain. Masha Malka ma'am has a master's degree in higher education, a diploma in clinical hypnotherapy, training certificates in accelerated learning techniques, NLP, transformational thinking, and the science of well-being, and a graduate certificate in teaching and training online. She is a founder of the One Minute Coach System, best-selling author, motivational speaker, member of the Forbes Coaching Council, entrepreneur, and a mother of three. I must tell you, ma'am, you do not look like a mother of three. Former Soviet refugee Masha Malka now resides between Miami, FL, and Marbella, Spain, living a successful and fulfilling life and helping thousands of her followers around the to world to the same. We welcome you back. Our next speaker is Dr. Nali Ramyan. Ma'am, I'll try my best to pronounce this. It is ma'am is a orthohinolaryngologist and head and a neck surgeon, JIPNER, author of the book The Broken Pendant, CEO and founder of Raviko's Cosmetics. We welcome you, ma'am. Thank you for being here with us today. Our next guest is Dr. Mitsu Chawda. Dr. Mitsu Chawda is a Facebook influencer, lawyer, biker, traveler, motivation speaker, career counselor, sexual wellness whisperer, and ma'am has loads of honors and certifications. She has a Doctor of Humanities from California Public University, strong social personality from Human Rights Organization, Gaurav Gurjari Nar Award, which is called as the Pride of Gujarat, Nobel Asian Award from World Record Foundation. Ma'am has received Veerta Puraskar from Global Counter-Terrorism Council. Some of her achievements to be mentioned here are: she's the youngest female solo pan-India biker, only Gujarati to summit Siachen Glacier, only person to be allowed to ride bike inside President Estate premises, mentioned by Honorable President of India, Mahamahim Shri Ramnath Kovindji, in his speech at 100 Women Achievers Award 2018. Army Chief declared 2018 as Year of Disabled Soldiers on June 7, 2018, after 5 months of completion of her ride. She was invited at UN as a speaker in World Emerging Leaders Summit in Bangkok. She was lauded by Honorable President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovindji, Honorable Rajnath Singh, Home Minister of India, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, Defence Minister of India. She is also a sexual wellness whisperer and into sex education. Apart from this, she's also esports gamer and currently associated with Esports Federation of India. She's a speaker for youth, spreading awareness and counseling about prevention of suicide and drugs, anti-depression and anxiety, youth empowerment, women empowerment. We are proud to have you here with us today, ma'am. And being a Gujarati, I'm really proud of you for all your achievements, because it is not that easy to achieve so much at such a young age. Our next speaker is Ms. Ma'am Thakur Kelly. She's an entrepreneur, business economist, speaker, founder of Moltra Group, founder of Africa Business Women Leadership and Network, founder of Moltra Organization, founder of Moltra Women Awards from Africa. She's also an Arab Youth International United Nations ambassador, the World Ambassador Advocate for Peace and Security. We welcome you, ma'am. Our next speaker is our very own. Now, we really consider you as a part of Devaditya family, ma'am. Is Ma'am Rania Lampau, ma'am from Greece. She has been awarded almost 24 national and international awards. She is also a finalist for Global Teacher Prize 2019 and a Global Teacher Award 2020 winner. She's a passionate researcher on cognitive neurosciences and psychology. She's founder and international coordinator for international projects. She's also an author of scientific books for children. She promotes STEM vision for introducing STEM in astronomy and physics. I also wish to mention here that ma'am has received award or honor from African Transformer Institute for her outstanding contribution to education and development. Congratulations, dear ma'am, from Team Devaditya. She is currently working in the Greek Ministry of Education at the Directorate of Education and Technology. It is indeed an impressive profile, and I am sure the audience would benefit from your experience and knowledge. We welcome you, ma'am. Our last speaker for this particular webinar is Ma'am Fabiana Linhares from Brazil. She is a writer, poet, a neuroscientist, and world ambassador of peace. We welcome you, ma'am. It's an achievement for the team Devaditya to have a team of such talented people as the eminent speakers for today's webinar. Before we begin this event formally, I also wish to introduce the mind behind this webinar, who planned and executed his vision, arranging for all the requirements to let it happen today. I must say that we need more people like Mr. Indrabhuvan Singh, sir, who is taking the spirit of social responsibility on a serious note and making his best possible effort to to bring about a change, that too a positive one. So here I extend a warm welcome to Mr. Indrabhuvan Kumar Singh sir from Tanzania. Sir is the CEO at METL Agro Limited. He is a CEO, business head, mentor, coach, and entrepreneur trainer. He has over 15 years of experience. Sir has a book called The New Ways of Self-Transformation on his name. All I can say is that please keep organizing events like these and contribute to bringing about a change through awareness. I also wish to extend a hearty welcome to the indispensable part of a team of technical coordinators, diligent and ever smiling Professor Makhan Kumbhakar sir from Indore. And I wish to mention over here that Sir has been he has given his technical support for almost more than 100 webinars. He has taken this initiative from last lockdown and it's continuing till 2021 lockdown also, which is credible. And we also welcome the very positive and ever smiling Dr. Shweta Rai from Indore. Now over to Indra Bhuvan Kumar Singh sir to throw light on Devaditya Foundation and then mark the beginning of this webinar by inviting our first speaker to give this webinar a real start. So wishing you all a very happy learning and a transforming session. Thank you so much. Over to you, Indra Bhuvan Singh sir. Hello.
Thank you so much, Mita ma'am, for your wonderful introduction of me and my all guest speakers from all across the world. And first of all, I would like to pay my heartiest thanks on behalf of Devaditya Foundation to all my guest speakers who accepted my invitation in a very short notice of time. And it's a really, I can say, God bless you all, and stay healthy and get good success in your life. Now, as far as my Devadit Foundation is concerned, the agenda behind this foundation, why we started this one, what we believe in this world, Children are very, very important. And I can say they are the future of any country or any nation or the world. But sometimes some children are not blessed. Some children, they need special attention. So Devadit Foundation major objective to take care of the children under special needs. Special needs mean like autistic children, learning disabilities, CP, autism. So these kind of children, they need proper ecosystem to survive their life. So what is our mission here in Devadit Foundation family? If we can create some channel or some platform where we can create awareness in society for this kind of children, where the mindset of society can be changed. Because if you are not going to improve our mindset, nothing can be happen. But in this same regard, in this current scenario, why I took this topic today, introduction to transpersonal development. What I feel, not only India, this whole world need this topic to understand, not only on the books or on the paper, but on the practical basis, on execution side. When we are passing through this very tough critical time of this pandemic COVID, I don't think so any part of the world is not affected by this virus. We all are crying, even especially from last 2 years. And God will be our savior in this critical time. But above all, God is there. But God is also helping those people. They are helping themselves. So what we need in this tough time, that is called transpersonal awareness. What is transpersonal? According to me, it's a kind of spiritual awakening. It's a kind of science to create better ecosystem, to create better platform for all the people who are residing in this world. It's a kind of inner self-production or inner assessment, or we can say self-realization. Because we can change the world only when you change yourself. Change always starts from self. So self-actualization, self-realization is an indispensable part in this current pandemic situation. And what we need, a great personality or a positive mindset people. What they need, there are various kind of spiritual elements in our personality, like love, joy, peace, wisdom, wisdom, will, skill. So these all are various elements. And when this spiritual elements come together as a team or in a proper coordinated way, that makes a man good personality. And that's the need of R. Because in this tough time, everybody is demotivated. Everywhere the sense of negativity. So what we need? We need self-motivation. We need self-encouragement. Yes, this is only the virus and this cannot destroy my world. This virus cannot be bigger than me. As a human being, we have lots of capabilities. We have mental thinking abilities, which makes us more powerful in this world. So this is the high time to understand, recognize our inner qualities, inner power. So for that's why we have taken this topic in this tough time so that our audience they understand what is the importance of transpersonal development and how we can implement or execute in our life. So that is the total theme behind this webinar, and I will not take too much time. And once again, thank you so much to all my guest speakers, my organizing team, Mita ma'am, Makhan sir, Sweta ma'am, for this wonderful show and hosting this webinar. And now I would like to invite my first speaker of this show, Miss Masa Malka ma'am from Spain. So welcome, ma'am, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Singh. Thank you for inviting me to be part of this very important event. It's an honor to be here and to hopefully share something practical and something that people can listen to implement immediately to reduce their levels of stress and possibly suffering. So I totally agree with everything you were saying. And your definition of this transpersonal development is about spiritual awakening. It's about understanding that the way we perceive ourselves, the way we also perceive what is happening around the world, really is a perception. It's not the reality. The reality happens is when you're able to separate yourself from this perceived idea as to who you are and what is happening, disconnect yourself and become an observer. And then you understand much better what is happening and why it is happening. Now, if you hear my accent, which you probably do, it's a Russian accent. I grew up in the Soviet Union. And the Soviet Union, as you probably know, is an atheist, I'm sorry, it doesn't exist anymore, was an atheist country. And anything to do with religion and spirituality was not taught at all. There was zero exposure to it. In fact, the whole culture was completely against it. So I was quite lucky, quite fortunate, I would say, to go through a very traumatic experience that helped me become spiritual. And sometimes, you know, what's happening now in the world, yes, there is a lot of drama, there's a lot of suffering, and I see it in a way as a gift because it helps us become awakened. It helps us connect to some parts of ourselves that we would not otherwise connect, because if everything goes well, there is not necessarily need to reach out to the depths, to reach out to God, for example, or the depths of who we are. So as I said, I was in a way fortunate to go through a very traumatic experience about 20 years ago. And thanks to that experience, I found myself literally having this out of body experience where my soul or my true self disconnected from the ego self, the body. And I could see myself kind of raising above, and I just saw my body and all the pain and all the suffering stopped at that moment. And all I could feel was this really deep sense of peace and a deep sense of just this universal love. And it wasn't even an emotion, it was like a state of being, a state of being in complete peace and love. And I understood that through that experience, that everything else is just a human experience. Everything else is just something that we're here to have the privilege, in a way, to experience a whole range of emotions and without judgment necessarily. Yes, it's not about good or bad, it's about an experience. We are spiritual beings having human experience, not the other way around. We're not humans trying to become spiritual. We are, to begin with, spiritual beings having a human experience. And remembering this and recognizing this will really help when it comes to this transpersonal development, to be able to really separate yourself and just observe. You're there, you're having an experience. Maybe you're having a traumatic experience, but you're observing it and you say, okay, this is fascinating. I am crying, I am laughing, I am dealing well with this, I'm not dealing well with this. Whatever it is, it's an experience. It's the idea is not to become too. It's like if you're having a dream and the dream seems real, but really you know that it's not. This is how life. If you learn to experience life in this way, you will really completely change the whole the whole experience of your life. You reduce suffering because you stop resisting. Suffering is always in the resisting. Maybe you heard the saying that pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Painful things are going to happen. It's part of being human. It's part of going through this process, because these are the kind of experiences that help our soul to expand, to grow, that help us learn and evolve. But the pain happens in a particular moment. There's a moment of pain. After that, everything after that, the suffering that comes after that, in a way, is a choice. In a way, something that we choose to do because we keep attaching a certain meaning to what has happened based on our programming called mindset. Um, and it is in our power to choose to react differently or not react, or how long you want to react. But you have the power to do that. And understanding this topic, and it's a very important, powerful topic, and you're going to listen to the rest of the speakers on this, and slowly, little bits and pieces will come together for you to really learn how to react, how to choose your reactions to whatever happens to you. You might not choose what happens to you, even though I believe we do, but you definitely choose how you're going to react. And I think that's what it's all about. So I know we have a lot of speakers. I don't want to take the time away from anybody else. Again, I'm very grateful to be here, and I wish everyone health, and that it will pass. Everything always passes. Life is cyclical. Just have faith and focus on everything that is good. There's always something good. There's always something bad if we're going to judge it. Move your focus to what you're grateful for, and life will shift in that direction. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you for your session, ma'am. Uh, what I could understand from your session was that you tried to mention about the power of the subconscious mind over here, because the line that you mentioned, that the way you perceive yourself is what you become. So it's very important for us to think good about ourselves, think good about everything that's happening around us, so that definitely if we think good, good will happen to us. So that is, I think, the gist of whatever you were trying to express. And like you also shared that your spiritual experience is an outcome of your traumatic experience. So to a certain extent, It was your trauma that led you to your spiritual journey. So I would actually believe that all of us are going through this traumatic stage because of this uncertainty which has arisen because of this pandemic. So it's time for us all to consider spiritual development. You are an inspiration for that, for the same. Thank you for this session, ma'am. It was really nice. And once we have the question answer round, I'm definitely going to come back to you. Now, I would like to invite upon our next speaker for this webinar, that is Dr. Nali Ramya, ma'am. Ma'am, over to you for your session. Dr. Nali Ramya, ma'am.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Good evening,
Yes, ma'am.
everyone. And so, yeah, good evening, everyone. And I'm especially thankful for Indra Bhuvan sir for giving me this wonderful opportunity tonight to talk with you all about a wonderful topic that is transpersonal development. I never expected that I will be talking this, but let me give you an example of why I have started this. It means why I am talking especially about this topic tonight. See, my profession is completely different from what I am speaking tonight. See, I am an otolaryngologist, Miss ENT and head and neck surgeon who has done my PG in third best medical college in India. And this topic is something that is not related to me, but I will give you an example of how this transpersonal development or knowing yourself will be helpful. An example. See, I was thinking, I was giving a webinar since many months, and I was doing webinars, and I was thinking, why can't a person can give me one topic on dealing with subconscious mind? Means that is my favorite topic. I was thinking, why can't the people give me a topic of dealing with how you can transfer yourself psychologically? I am not a psychologist or psychiatrist. I am ENT doctor. But I was thinking that before night I got this invitation. Please God, just give me a topic on the subconscious mind. I want to talk to the people about it. And immediately the next day I got an invitation from Indra Bhuvan, Mr. Indra Bhuvan, that can you talk live on it? I'm giving an example because like living examples will give you a better understanding of what this topic is. So he has given me this topic. Can't you talk on transpersonal development? Yes, I was so much surprised on how this theory has acted upon me. I was thinking a long time, and finally I was keeping my conscious brain on, yes, I want this topic, and I got this topic the next day. And I was surprised by this act. I was surprised this example. Why I'm saying this thing is that many people are unaware of their potential. They don't know that how your subconscious mind will act on you. Yes, he has written in many books, and I was introduced to this concept 1 year back by my dad, and he has presented me this book called Power of Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, and so many other books later came along with this same concept. I was thinking, yes, I was seeing many people of who suffered from head and neck cancers. Means my thesis on my when I was doing my PG is on cancers, how you observe HPV virus in cancers. And I was seeing the stage 4 people have recovered. I was literally shocked. Stage 4 people are going, the main stage of treatment is chemotherapy, chemoradiotherapy. And I have seen people who have recovered and people who have feared a lot. Stage 1 has died immediately. And this is what's happening in this world now. The people who are suffering from COVID or coronavirus, they are dying because of fear. I was treating the patients from my first day because I am ENT and patient, the main symptoms of COVID come with nose, throat infections, coughing, and these all things they present to me. And the people who are not demotivated by this inner self or so much positive thinking, I have seen them recovering. I will not get that. I will not get. There are people who didn't get that. I can say that. And the people, oh my God, I will be going onto the ventilator. I will be dying the next day. They have passed the stage. Yes, I have seen people. So this is the stage that you should not be scared of, actually. You should be, this is the time you can develop yourself. There are two types of people in this world. one I can tell, magnetized persons and demagnetized persons. If you take a magnet and you magnetize it, then it will lift 12 times of your power, 12 times of this weight. But this magnet, if you demagnetize, you can even not take a small amount of grams or feathers or anything. Such a way, now the people are two types. Magnetized means they are so much of full of confidence, so much of inner self of positive attitude, and the demagnetized people are people full of fear. And we are seeing these examples every day. And how to master that? How to master this demagnetized and demagnetized? We have to be a master of being magnetized people. How? The master secret is nothing. It is very simple. The miracle power of subconscious mind. We have two types. What is subconscious and one is conscious mind. What we receive onto our brains, what our thoughts is our conscious thing. I am thinking about that thing is something I am doing in a conscious way. And subconscious is that your subconscious mind will receive all the things, your thoughts that you are giving orders to your subconscious mind. And that will act according to your subconscious mind, conscious mind. So your subconscious mind will react it. It is a involuntary thing. You'll accept it. If I will fail, yes, I fail. If I will die, yes, you will die the very next day. This is what is happening every day in our world. Yes, I got COVID. Yes, I'm scared. I am scared and I am getting myself tested. And next day they are dying. Why? It is all the factor of being demagnetized or deactivated. Your immunity, I will give you a scientific reason behind it. Whenever you are getting your fear thought inside yourself, you are giving a surge of corticosteroids getting outside your body. That is nothing but the steroids, which will decrease your immunity. And immunity causes so much of infections to come and act their way. So this fear causes our immune system, and that's why there are so many tablets to take immunity. We are giving tablets of multivitamin every day to promote our immunity. So that is what I'm saying. Don't get scared. It is all of about our how do you deal with our open. This concept of transpersonal development should be of open-minded and receptive. Without a narrow mind, you cannot understand this concept. It is like carbon dioxide or oxygen, or these are principles, or oxygen. We need oxygen for breathing. These are principles. These are facts. We cannot change that. This is the fact that your subconscious mind, if you keep power on that, or you keep command on that, you will act according to you, according to what you want. And this is the basic thing. All conditions we experience every day is on our mind, what we are doing with that. And many people who are successful in their lives, who are going in higher situations, means higher positions, they have all using the subconscious mind to get to them done. If you really want that happen, God or cosmos will conspire, means it will go with you and make it happen. You may not know that how it will happen. Like example, I was praying for this. I want this topic to be done. I want this topic to be done. I was thinking of that. And I got this topic. And this is a live example of that. So your belief in our mind brings the results, especially what you believe will give you. If you are believing that you will be happy today or happy in the future, or you can achieve anything, it will be happening. Whatever you do, what others do, how much negativity you come across, you will be doing that. And finally, I'm just saying is that our subconscious mind is like a garden, and we are the gardeners. And what you sow, your thoughts, is like seeds. And the seeds should be very specific, how they are positive or negative. How much positive seeds you sow, how much positive results will come to you. The change is upon to you. The cause will be that much effective, how much you sow. So this is a small brief intro. I cannot continue more. So I wish everyone will take care of their health in a better manner of psychological mode also. so that it is not only about the medicines that will help, it is our brain that needed at that particular time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this. I would not say wonderful. I would say it was a motivational session. It was really nice, motivating, and something that we really need to deal with this current situation. And ma'am, you spoke so well on a topic which is not related to your profession. Hats off to you. I think you deserve an applaud for the same. But yes, you took the challenge well, and you shared your own. The best part was that you shared your own experience and how desperately you wanted to speak on this topic. That is the power of the subconscious mind, and the universe conspired, and you got a call from Indra Bhuvan Singh sir, and ultimately you are a part of this event today. So this example was really touching and something that we could actually believe in. And then the other thing that you expressed about was that there are two types of people. And I think that every time I'm going to meet somebody, I'm going to identify whether he's a magnetized person or he's a demagnetized person. If he's a magnetized person, then he will be full of confidence and positivity. And if he is a demagnetized person, then he would be full of fear and negativity. So I do not want to be with such people. In case if I get to meet them, I'm going to try my best to make them magnetized. And the quote that you shared was definitely good, but I have also made a quote from that, and that is, if you dream to go higher, water your subconscious mind, because you just expressed that our mind is like a garden, and whatever we are going to water it with, that is what is going to grow in it. So definitely we need to pay attention to our subconscious mind, and it is the law of belief that works for all of us. So let us make our belief system very strong and achieve whatever we are destined for. Thank you so much for filling in life within us, within all of us, ma'am. Thank you. I'm going to come back to you for the question answer round, ma'am. So please be here with us. Now, I would like to invite upon our dynamic Gujarati achiever, a very inspirational person for our community as well as the people around us. I would like to invite Dr. Mitsu Chavda, ma'am, for her session, please. Over to you, ma'am. Dr. Mitsu Chavda, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, you're
Yes,
audible.
ma'am.
I am. So basically, Dr. Nali Ramya, I could actually, relate to you. Again, for me, this is not my topic. This is not my subject. And recently, I'm also volunteering at the COVID isolation center. And I was so tired one day that I started reading anything and everything that I found on net. And I was just thinking one day to myself that I want to speak on something I don't know about. And the very day I got a message from Indra sir saying that will you do about transpersonal development? Will you speak about it? And trust me when I say this is for the first time that I heard about this topic. and I took it as a challenge. I would be like, yeah, fine, I would learn something. If I speak anything that is wrong, then I would be rectified, and this would be a learning session for me also. Then I started reading about it. I started talking to my friends who are psychologists and all, and I got a lot of information about it, and I learned a lot of things about myself. Like, I have my mind processed. I am like, I have to wake up every day at 7 o'clock, and I don't need an alarm now. I'm like, as soon as it's 6:55, my mind is something I will wake up. And that is how I could relate. And while I was on my ride, so my ride took place in winters. And when I talk about winters, it is January month. And in January month, I was in Delhi and Lucknow. We always at that point of time, whenever we open the news, we are always seeing the temperature. Delhi has this many temperature, this much. And I was a very new rider at that point of time. It was my first ride, and I didn't know how to step out of my cubicle and ride on one particular day when I had to travel from Gorakhpur to Lucknow. But the someone on the call told me that Lucknow does not have, it's not that cold these days. You can come over, it's warm over here. So the very next day, I got up early, I wore my riding gear, and I just rode off to Lucknow. And from Lucknow, I also went to different places, and then I finally reached Delhi. And then someone else told me that, do you know, Lucknow has more cold, it's more cold. And like Gorakhpur is less cold comparatively. And I was like, okay, I did not realize it. So somehow I also understood all these things. And like you, like Dr. Ramya, you explained very well about conscious mind and subconscious mind. Like our conscious mind is something that commands, and our subconscious mind is something that obeys without questioning. So all our habits and thinking and acts, we are saying, that are all part of our subconscious mind. And like I would also like to add what Masha Malka ma'am said, that in this tough times, we as humans, we are turning towards something or the other. It may be a person, it may be some character, it may be even when we talk about our medicines, and and when we are turning towards God, and we are going through God, then our suffering and all, that gives us something to reassure for our life, that gives us hope. And that is how people are surviving also. Because as you said, Dr. Ramya, that people are there are more people who are getting like who are dying because of their panic. And that is what I can relate, because I am also into this like volunteering for COVID isolation ward. And then when I was reading about this whole, what is transpersonal development, I came across Joseph Dillard's article. And he said that development is like a spiral staircase with multiple floors or landings, where you can stop, relax, and stay for the rest of your life. So it is on us. We have to stop, want to relax, we want to stay there, or we want to move on. And he has very beautifully written about all the different stages of growth process, which is all non-verbal. Like he has said that when in the early person, if we speak, then it is more about I am my feelings and emotions that have a body. Then the mid person says that I am not just emotions, but I am scripted identity. Like I am Dr. Mitsu Chavda, or I am Mr. Indra Bhuvan Singh, or I am Dr. Nali Ramya. So that is what a mid person is. Then a late person is all about ego and a scripted persona, that I am from this family, I'm from this religion, I'm from this nationality, this workplace, this political party, and etc etc. And we have a clear sense of self, emotions, and our body also. And people actually do not get past that particular stage. So like I feel that everybody that embraces like pluralism or egalitarian is able to reach this level, but cognitively. And it's not same as living the life based on level of development. Then Joseph Dillard also said that it's not possible to be fully enlightened unless you accept the existence of other life forms. And he says that the map of development can be helpful in identifying your next step and movement to clarity, enlightenment, and even lucidity. This is what I read about him, and I could personally like relate to everything, because coming from a humble family, then working towards something and making that particular thing a national and international success, I could actually feel all those stages. And like I also like draw myself what do you say, my sense of self from sense of collective existence with all humans, and like others also. Like I have my pet and all, so everyone is included in that particular thing. And we simply grasp the principle that we assume is our level of development. Like I was also like, while I was reading about all this thing, I also came up across this integral deep listening. And that is very powerful. It is like very effective. And self-direct, it like we can say that it is a self-directed path to awakening, and again clarity and enlightenment. And like again, as I said, that development is like what do we say, a spiral staircase with a multiple floors, and it is gonna stay for rest of your life. Like then I went more deeper into what is integral deep listening. And then I just came, like it just struck me, there's a great way to move ahead and quickly within the framework of our life, like we have decided. And the very best example if I could give about is Barack Obama. And like I don't know if I'm right about this, I'm wrong about this, but I can like say that like we it's all about our previous self definitions which are not identified with any of those things. Like we are not aware about what we want as of now, and even if we are aware about what our mind wants, we are not sure what our subconscious mind is acting upon, though they are already linked and they are doing. And that is the challenge that we are facing, that we are not like we cannot optimize our mind. But somehow somewhere I have read that people with great intelligence and IQ have also tried to do that. And what I also read is about, to do with any of this, we first have to learn to experience our previous perspective on our ongoing daily or hourly basis. And like for me personally, I draw my sense of like self from universe principle like law or dharma or natural law, karma, human rights, then the golden rules and the teachings from what people have learned from. Like this is what, and when that all imbibes together, and that is fixated by my conscious mind into subconscious mind, I am supposed to like act on the same thing. And this whole identity is governed by skepticism or doubt, reason, rationality, empiricism, and even the scientific method at this time, if we talk about. And we all want to get enlightened. We always want to get enlightened. It's not about a big person or a small person. We all want to get enlightened, but how do we do it? That is so like how we can say if the growth is genuine, because how can we judge ourselves? And then there is also resistance that comes from both culture and society, including family and work. How do we even fight that? So like I can always say that I am not define my soul or professional affiliations, but I always have them, and myself, my emotions and body, they are also like affiliated with this. I am very sorry, like I'm very new to this, so I'm unable to explain what I mean, but I did note down some of the points. But then I could conclude, and I could come to one thing, that there is, we cannot skip any level of our development, because each includes previous and each are dependent on a previous level. And like however the cognitive recognition of them are, it's like a temporary flash of enlightenment of getting one of any of those perspective, or like anything is, it is perspectives are not same as assessing the perspective on continuing basis. So like as you said, Dr. Ramya, that we have to think about something, how shall you so shall you read. So it's all about that. If I am thinking of something, and that is what even in the book Secret has been written, that even if you say that I'll be late, you will be late. And even if you say I don't want to be late, I don't want to be late, and still you will be late. So it is all about what we think, and the universe conspires to make that happen. Like I would like to end on this particular note, that we should always think positive, so that there is a positive vibrations that are created. And like as my mom always says, it's saying from her, that we should always say positive things, because around us are angels who would say, okay, bless you. So if we are saying negative and they say bless you, then things are bound to happen negative. So we should always be positive, and I hope everyone is taking care of themselves in this tough times. And like thank you so much, Indra Bhuvan sir, for giving me this opportunity to learn something new.
Always welcome. Always welcome. Uh, Mita ma'am.
Sir, आप कुछ बोल, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something. Then you can.
Please, sir, you can conclude this.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
That would be better.
I would like to highlight here something. Why I invited these two speaker, Dr. Mitsu Chavda and Dr. Nali Ramyan ji. The specific reason is behind that. See, this topic, transpersonal development, it's a very very genuine topic, and it's a correlate to inner self and what is happening right now all across the world or all across the surroundings. And what I feel before approaching to you people, I have gone through your profile. As Ma'am Dr. Nali Ramyan ji, you are a doctor by profession, okay? And when our audience, they are going to listen your own genuine experience about the pandemic or about the suffering and how we can overcome. I think so that creates a difference. So that is the agenda behind that, to invite you, even though I know that's not your topic, and but I think so. This is very uh, genuine topic and related to the heart and inner self. And as a doctor in our culture, in our Indian tradition, doctor is like a second god. We are perceiving them, and they are giving light to people. So that was my agenda. If my audience is going to listen from your own experience, from your own journey, so of course definitely they can create some difference in their mindset. And it's all about the positivity. It's all about the positive vibes inside you. If you die by your heart, you'll die. But if you not die, if you lie by your heart, you are going to win any kind of battle. That is the reality of life. Even one person can kill 10 people if you have that instinct in your mind. So it's all about the mindset, mind game. Even for the Dr. Chavda ji, why I selected her, because when I gone through her profile, she was a biker, she was she is a social activist. So I felt, uh, ma'am can give some what day to day experience, what she is perceiving in day to day life, and that experience can make a change into people mindset. What we need today, either in India or all across the world, it's all about the change of mindset. It's a mindset game change. And if you have positive mindset, you are going to win this battle. That is what I feel. That is the only permanent solution for this current pandemic situation. We have to be self-motivated at any point of time. Because as rightly said by Ramya ji, people are dying because of fear. People are not dying because of COVID. Sometimes if they feel, oh, I'm a COVID-19 positive, they lost. So it's all about the mindset. You must have positive mindset. You must have never give up approach, and then definitely we can change the entire world. Thank you so much again to both of you for accepting my invitation. And over to you, Mita ma'am.
Thank you for this interesting session, Dr. Mitsu Chawda ma'am. Like Indu Singh sir has already praised your session. I just want to mention one very nice quote which was mentioned by one of the participants over here, that is Kalyani Rao ma'am. Like you have mentioned that you wake up at 7 a.m. without an alarm every day. You have started practicing it and finally like you are into it. So for that, Ma'am Kalyani has mentioned the quote that our mind is our watch if we keep practicing. So this is actually applicable over here. And the only thing that I need to like click on Amazon after this webinar is over because of you, and that is the suggested readings, which are an outcome of your session. I think I need to buy two books now. One is The Power of the Subconscious Mind, and the other is The Secret. So definitely we can learn a lot from these books. Thank you for this session. Now I would like to invite upon our next speaker, Ms. Takur Kelly ma'am. Over to you, ma'am. Takur Kelly ma'am, are you there?
Is she joined?
Makan sir, please let me know.
Can you check, please?
I think she's not there, sir, in the list of participants.
Yes, sir.
Takur
We are
Kelly
just
ma'am.
getting in the room, sir.
She's around?
No, sir, no.
Okay, no problem. Then you can we can move further.
Okay, then I would like to invite upon Dr. Rania Lampau ma'am from Greece. Rania ma'am, are you there?
Yeah, she's
Over to you, ma'am.
I'm here.
Over to you, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Greetings from Greece, from beautiful Athens. Thank you again for your kind invitation to participate today in this so interesting topic, very interesting topic. I am an educator, I'm a STEM instructor and neuroeducation researcher, so I will try to explore the concept of transpersonal development through an educational point of view mostly. I will focus on transpersonal education. So may I share my presentation?
Yeah, you can share your screen. Yeah, yeah.
Is it visible now?
Yeah, yeah. It's a visual.
So what is development? Development is like a spiral staircase with multiple floors or landings where you can stop, relax, or stay for the rest of your life. But having a map of the entire process can help you see where you are and what the next step is in your movement to clarity and enlightenment and to lucidity. It's the art and science of awakening the spiritual qualities of peace, wisdom, and purpose. Trans means extending or going personal or individual. According to transpersonal theories, there are developmental stages beyond the adult ego, which involve experiences of connectedness with phenomena considered outside the boundaries of the ego. And these developmental stages can engender the highest human qualities, including altruism, creativity, and intuitive wisdom. All these transpersonal approaches concern fostering higher human development. Therefore, most transpersonal theories deal extensively with matters relating to human values and spiritual experience. This focus sometimes leads people to confuse the interest of transpersonal psychiatry, for example, with the concerns of religion. Transpersonal psychiatry does not promote any particular belief system, but rather acknowledges that spiritual experiences and transcendent states characterized by creativity and altruism and profound feelings of connectedness are universal human experiences widely reported across cultures, and therefore they are worthy of rigorous scientific study. Transpersonal studies have their roots in humanistic psychology and the human potential movement of the 1960s. The term was, in fact, introduced by William James in 1995. And we live in a skill set-driven society that emphasizes learning new skills, improving the ones we're weakest at. So this often fosters the belief that we need more education in order to achieve our goals. Of course, we need a set of skills, but it's our mindsets that need adjustment. So the area of education, considered broadly and at all levels, is one of the most significant areas of future inquiry and exploration in the transpersonal field. When we're talking about transpersonal education, changing perspectives on transpersonal development suggests the need for new approaches to education. How might transpersonal perspectives and values guide educational philosophies and institutions? How might our education truly awaken and transform learners rather than merely prepare them for particular roles in society? What kinds of education develop wisdom, love, compassion, and the energy necessary to respond creatively in immense current challenges faced by humanity? The transpersonal educator tries to bring birth new selves, new possibilities of experience, and to excite the child in us. Through transpersonal education, a person becomes aware of the feelings, fantasies, and experiences which are common heritage as human beings and begins to sense the interrelatedness of all things. The transpersonal approach emphasizes the need for teachers to transcend their own ego needs, to transcend the myth that teachers are simply conveyors of knowledge, to adopt a serious approach to science, to arts, to study, which values wonder and increased sensibility. In transpersonal learning, one discovers nature's intrapsychic dimension, the close relationship between self and world. The concerns of transpersonal education are in a sense spiritual, but they are not religious, of course, in a sectarian manner. The goal is to guide the individual in his or her exploration of many realms of experience which transcend the ego. Transpersonal education, like science, is concerned with knowledge and discovery of truth. It does not, however, limit the search for truth to objectively verifiable measurement, prediction, and control. It is also addressed to questions of value, meaning, and purpose, which have been traditionally the area of religion or philosophy. Since human consciousness cannot be studied apart from the experiencing persons, we need here the model of subjective empirism, which is the predominant mode of investigation. And unlike religious education, transpersonal education is not concerned with teaching a particular doctrine, as we said before, or inculcating a particular belief system. It focuses rather on the process of discovery and transcendence of self, which results from spiritual practice. Like humanistic education, transpersonal education affirms the authenticity of subjective experience and values self-actualization. The transpersonal focus on transpersonal education also differentiated from humanistic education, which emphasizes interpersonal communication interaction. So transpersonal education is actually part of humanistic education, but the humanistic education is focused on the interpersonal dimension. And on the other hand, transpersonal education focuses on intrapersonal dimension. So the deliberate withdrawal of attention from the external world for the purpose of gaining self-knowledge or self-transcendence is a step along the way of transpersonal realization. Without self-awareness, knowledge of facts may be of little value. So we need self-knowledge, which is considered a way to self-transcendence as well as self-mastery, closing the gap between the inner and outer reality, establishing the link between conscious and unconscious processes, becoming whole in the sense that every aspect of being is integrated and harmonized. These are some of the emerging guidelines of transpersonal education. Contemporary transpersonal education builds upon a broad foundation. More recent transpersonal approaches to education have been developed within modern and postmodern settings. For example, in this century in the West, a relatively small number of students in preschool, primary, and secondary education, mostly the children of the middle and upper classes, have been guided by transpersonal perspectives. We all know the private schools, Waldorf and Montessori schools. The first Waldorf school was founded in Austria in 1919. There were presently well over 100 such schools in the United States. And Montessori schools, which were introduced in the USA in the first part of the present century, and today are the most established and well-organized alternative or holistic schools. There's also a movement among educators about holistic education. According to Abraham Maslow, which is an American psychologist who is known for creating Maslow's hierarchy of needs, after self-actualizing, the next step is to help others to self-actualize. So education is the most important tool regarding what kind of world we would like to leave behind us for future generations. So Maslow suggested that education should help children look within themselves and from this self-knowledge derive a set of values. These are values which are affirmed in transpersonal education. Maslow made a distinction between extrinsic and intrinsic education. Extrinsic learning is rewarded by grades, degrees, recognition, and approval. Intrinsic learning is lifelong and is concerned with the discovery of identity and the discovery of vocation. It needs no secondary reinforcement. It's self-validating. And since extrinsic learning can abstract the deepest impulses from within, it becomes necessary to create a space in which a person can attend to them, learning to listen to his inner impulses. The assumption is that we can, and indeed we must, trust our biological nature in order to allow the evolution of our highest potential. There is within us a source of wisdom which transcends the conscious ego. It is critical to create a school where an individual can become socially, emotionally, virtually, culturally, intellectually, physically, and spiritually independent, or in one word, free. We need model of schools that involve motivation, intuition, orientation, affiliation, style, and health, because education is a lifelong flow of different learning experiences we come across in our lives. The aim of transpersonal education is not to substitute a new form of education for an existing form, but rather to expand our existing forms to include the development of those functions which have been neglected in order to bring about a balance between intellectual and intuitive, conscious and unconscious, verbal and spatial, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual processes. The system of transpersonal education will encourage young people to express their educational and emotional needs, to involve parents and families in the educational process. So we need, as you also said before, the previous presenters, that we need to change our mindset. Changing our mindset takes work because formed habits aren't easy to break. This is especially true since many of our most harmful habits and counter mindset were established when we were kids, and we've been doing things the same way ever since. So the objective of transpersonal education is also the realization and maintenance of higher states of consciousness in which intrapersonal and interpersonal actualization is subsumed and not bypassed. The individual who chooses transpersonal education is setting out on a path of discovery. The path is inevitably one of many leading to the source of wisdom. A commitment to truth, the deepest, most inclusive truth he is capable of knowing, recognizing both his personal limitation and his transpersonal possibilities. What is the future of transpersonal education? First of all, there will be obviously more focus on the connection between reflection and action, between theory and practice. This link between study and action goes strongly against what we call the ivory tower notion of education and long-standing Western gaps of theory and practice. And here we can mention the most, I think, influential philosophy of education in the USA, what we of the pragmatist philosopher John Dewey. So we're talking about learning by doing, this philosophy. Second, education will increasingly be guided by a sense of practice and the conscious sense that all experience in a given set is relevant and is related to learning and transformation. This has to do also with STEM education. I told you I'm a STEM instructor. STEM education, which is the future of education, focuses on this, that tries to involve students with real-life problems, real-life situations. Because knowledge should not be disconnected from reality. And also, we need to cultivate an open and non-judgmental awareness of the context of experience, which can be complemented by trainings that can help access particular domain of experience, emotional, aesthetic. Also, third, we will continue to have development of methodologies that create a dynamic relationship of theory and practice, which involve a participant observation, collaborative, cooperative inquiry, for example. And also, we talk about interdisciplinarity because we need the connections between different levels of development. And here we can say how disciplinarity is very much in trend in education nowadays. New educational forms need to be developed that help bring out these new models of teaching and learning that bring together experiential, practical, intellectual, and spiritual dimensions. In this context, it is important to develop a fresh, critical, and historical view of the various educational forms that we have inherited so far, to set curriculum, universities, master and doctoral degrees, and clarify which of these are helpful and which constrain actually transpersonal education. We will come to see a variety of new kinds of schools and educational institutions more integrated with life, work, and practice, having a vision of lifelong education aimed at spiritual, cultural, and political transformation. And And I want to say, I have already presented this in another session, but I think it's very important since the COVID pandemic is actually a big challenge nowadays all over the world. Here in Greece, we are in lockdown since September, and we have many cases of death and and victims. So I recently wrote an article which is was published in an international magazine. It's called K-12 Digest, and this tries to it's actually a guide to educators about how to cope with the COVID pandemic using also the brain-based strategies, as we call the principles of neuroeducation and cognitive neuroscience. Neuroeducation is a broad interdisciplinary field that studies topics related to brain, mind, education, drawing theories and methods from the wide range of disciplines. So what do we need to do? According to recent research, children suffer from various mental health disorders such as depression, anxiety, insomnia, poor concentration, adjustment disorder, chronic stress, post-traumatic stress. So we need neuroeducation that help us understand the inner workings of the brain, and also can give us the framework in order to develop activities that could increase attention and improve memorization. It's important to create, first of all, positive emotions, because the role of emotion is very important. Everything we learn is influenced and organized by emotions. Feeling and thoughts shape each other, they cannot be separated. We know all how COVID crisis took an emotional toll on our children. So a learner can become motivated if it involves something that is emotional based. And actually knowledge is very much engraved in the brain. It's important to make learning pleasant. We all know that children are more or less bored by the online learning. So it's up to us as educators. Learning is reinforced by challenge and inhibited by threat. So we need intrinsic motivation, which is also necessary for student creativity. Because in this way, students will be mobilized and we will achieve higher goals. As we said before, human brain learns optimally. That means that it creates more neural connections, more neural synapses when it is intrinsically motivated. Very important, social skills. Our brain is social, according to neuroeducation. That means that we need interactions to evolve. The brain seems to like learning from others. Social distancing is only physical. It shouldn't lead to isolation. We have many platforms, such as collaborative platforms, that children can develop communication and collaboration, or asynchronous communication tools. And also, we should encourage our children, our students, to develop empathy, solidarity, and altruism, as I said before, which are values of transpersonal education. We need interactivity because changes to neural connections in the brain do not happen if experiences aren't active. So as we said before, theory and practice, here we can say that a learner should be engaged in activity for change to take place in the brain. For example, we can use group participation and active simulation, gaming, role play, or other engaging activities. We need an activity after we teach the theory. Develop self-awareness, encourage students to express their feelings and promote self-awareness and self-management. Create safe environment, because fear now during the COVID pandemic is an inhibiting factor for learning, and our brain seeks security. Neuroscientists also have discovered the brain remembers the first part and the last part training of the best, so which is called the primacy recency effect. So it's important to focus on the beginning and the end, and to take short breaks, and of course adopt the integration of arts is very important, and adopt an appropriate methodology, which is what is the appropriate methodology is what fits best to your students, to their interests, to their age, to the rhythm. There is no standardized recipe. And why arts are necessary? Because according to education, when a person learns a simple concept, the brain creates neural synapses that connect that concept to his experiences. The integration of arts not only helps the student to explore a concept from different perspectives, but also uses all the different ways of learning, leading to the creation of more neural synapses. So we see scientifically now how arts are necessary, especially in primary education. Thank you very much. I want also to, no, I think I have finished. Yes, I want to say that the intention of special education is no less than spiritual transformation, the cultivation of wisdom and love, the opening of heart and mind, the deep communion with life. Education is not just about information or getting jobs, it's about healing, about wholeness, empowerment, liberation, transcendence. It's about reclaiming the vitality of life. Thank you very much for your attention. Do you have any question?
Rani, I'm speechless. You know, I'm a great fan of your this PowerPoint presentation, and you are amazing presenter, and especially your your way of presenting things and your image selection. It's a fantastic. I don't have words for that. So it's a really wonderful presentation, and I hope so. Our all audience they enjoyed your presentation, and they're going to learn too many things from your wonderful speech, and especially what is the need of neuroeducation, which you focused on your presentation, and what is the meaning of education now, not only to get the knowledge or to get the skill or to get the job. It's all about the collaborative transformation in terms of your transpersonal development. That is the meaning of education. So fantastic presentation, Ramya, and God bless you and best of luck. And Mita ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for yet another interesting and a well explanatory presentation. We are really lucky to have you with us here today. And uh, like you are being academician, you have basically highlighted about transpersonal development in education. And the most interesting slide which I really liked was that most of us, we focus on the extrinsic education, that is just degrees, grades, recognition. uh, uh, that is what we all concentrate upon. But actually, it's time for us to concentrate upon intrinsic education, where we need to teach our students about values, discovery of identity, and teaching them lifelong experiences to cherish forever. So definitely your presentation will be of great help to the educators, as well as we are also into education. So definitely we can learn something from this and try to incorporate it in our teaching. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I would like to invite upon our last speaker for this webinar today, that is ma'am Fabiana Linhaers.
Brazilian greetings.
From Fabiana from Brazil. I'm so sorry, ma'am, if I've gone wrong with the pronunciation. Please bear with it, ma'am. I'm sorry. Ma'am, over to you, ma'am.
Indra Bruin.
Hello.
How are you?
And everyone who is honoring me today with your noble attention. Thank you, Indra Bruin. For me, it's a pleasure to be here, a guest in particular, talk about this proposed theme. From my point of view, amen, to understand that I am inserted in a cultural context, social, spiritual, and the ways that brought me here. Regardless of any line of think over the theme, I want, where is my opinion, on transpersonal development for this, I urge a point of time of humanity. The me and everything. The me and everything that in me now, that in the world there is, and what don't see. Goes beyond, because if the sky doesn't have form in my chest, only the transcendent can reach me in your little touch from infinito. But I develop in this, then I want it out that exists, and me is on the everything, no there is all, but move, roll, because have arms, retract, because also know those parts. My body, my spirit, the words were created to know, so humanity do see the essence. Even so, there is the mirror beyond our image. And what image on the truth, if bring word paints within peace, what we love, parts of what not, do you know? I say, the sky does not fit shoe in my hands, but I'm alive to develop myself when the sky look at me. There is the beyond, because the day is born and the night is not, was the drawing from the stars in my hands. And our body feels the necessity to be lit, like a shot, waiting to have a soul, like a voice, to be born, having its own song. And so in this all, the life flows, how loneliness must die. Here, I finish this poem to say that beyond the ego, poured in your solitary bark, life in spheres, tell us of points to connect, because there are paints to understand colors in the precious touch of a brush of existence. Beyond the self as it is, how can I know? How do some to have? How should try? Culture, self, man, that all, unaware in the moment can see. They do not touch the creation of the universe. They do not embark the way of eternity in every connection, in every search. I get involved. I get closer to be limits of every contest. And they must cause me. I meditate on what it reveals to me, because I do not dominate the infinito. We develop when the truth poured into the lap of self in little spirit. Love, not love, to not always real, but in the voice of exercise. Altruism, expansion, so that my hands feel the touch of this intense way of life. Transpersonal development for me is the spirit worlds that exist and the centrally of the self must fall into the beautiful chronology of a creator of the self. And it's so immense that it left a picture of art in its heart to open its eyes beyond themselves. I finish here what I must leave continuing, a brief to know besides, above, in front, behind, everything finally being a movement, a hurry, huggy, a huggy in everyone, alive, a brief from dear Brazil. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Fabian, for your wonderful speech and
Thank you.
nice presentation. And I would like to acknowledge what you said regarding this transpersonal development. It's regarding the self-assessment, your self-awareness, and how we can execute those things into our real life. So very nicely presented, Fabian, and it was really, amazing session for us. And I think so. Now this time for this question and answer. Meeta ma'am.
Yes, sir. So we do have a few questions. So as we are running short of time, I'm going to put up one question for every speaker of us. So the first question is for Rania Lampao ma'am. Ma'am, are you there? Rania ma'am?
Yes, he's around.
Sir, the question is, as your presentation was on education and transpersonal development in education. So how to introduce transpersonal education in our curriculum? Because whatever we are going through, definitely there is a need to introduce transpersonal education. So how can we make it a part of our curriculum? If you can just provide us some short, some tips for the same.
Mm-hmm. Well,
how can we introduce transpersonal education in our curriculum?
Well, as I said before, this is related to STEM education, which is the future, I said before, of education, because the first principle is the learning by doing. As I said before, the principle of Dewey. That means that we needed to focus on the practical side of knowledge. Traditional methods of education have no longer any application. I mean that when we teach a new concept, according to neuroeducation, our brain creates more synapses, neural synapses, when learning, when this knowledge is related to our real life problems. I mean, when this knowledge is meaningful. So we need to give meaningful stimuli to our children, to our students, because this way knowledge is best learned. And of course, as I said before, the role of emotion here is very important, because we need to give a strong emotionally stimuli in order to help our children and motivate them, especially during the COVID pandemic, remote learning. Children, we know that they are bored. So it's up to us to create challenging activities. So first one is to focus on real life problems, to focus on emotional, as I said before. Collaboration is the word, is the key to many answers, collaboration. We have, during online learning, many collaborative platforms We can organize many collaborating events such as role playing or or simulations. And of course, we have STEM, as I said before, STEM education, which applies to more practical hands-on activities, empower children to become out-of-the-box thinkers and creators. And here, as I said before, creativity is also the main principle of the new curriculum. I want to say that according to experts, the curriculum of the fourth industrial revolution, here we are in the fourth industrial revolution with smartphones, with artificial intelligence. According to experts, this has failed. Why? Because it has ignored the human factor, the human dimension. So we are the threshold also of the fifth industrial revolution. So according to experts, we need now to focus also on the human factor. And that means that we need to encourage and motivate the creative part and the more intuitive, if you want, part of the brain and of our children. So our creativity, action, practice, emotion, collaboration, hands-on activities, activities that involve very much children. Children have a sense of achievement when they do something. When they create an art and craft project, they feel proud. They go to their home and they tell their parents that I did this. So they have a sense of achievement that they did something. So we need to engage much more our children, because if not, we're going to fail. And give focus, as I said before, on the human dimension, because machines in the fifth industrial revolution should go along with humans.
Very well explained, ma'am. So, like what you were trying to say is that rather than making it making transpersonal education a part of a curriculum, we as teachers, we need to develop our teaching in such a way that it helps the students in their overall development. So definitely we are making a contribution in that aspect. We can contribute to the development of our students. Thank you, ma'am. The next question is for, it has come from one of the participants. It's for Ramya Nali, ma'am. The question is how the first impression plays a role in transpersonal development. Although we had one more question, but as this has come, so I'm just putting up this question first. Hello, ma'am, are you there?
Yeah, I am there.
Ma'am, the question is how the first impression plays a role in transpersonal development.
Yes, it is. Hello. Yeah. It's actually, it's a wonderful, it's a very wonderful question, how the first impression plays. Yes, means it doesn't mean that every person will be transformed at this particular age or that particular age. But at one particular time, everyone will be learning something new. Means it doesn't mean that at 60 years of age, you will be exactly transformed and you will be going into a spiritual level of understanding. But even at age of 8 or 9 years also, even kids can be transformed into something. And everything that is in a first impression that will be leading into last impression, I don't believe exactly on that. Means whatever we learn in our school times, whatever we learn, we will be having some kind of subconscious effect on whatever we are thinking now. In my school time, I will be taught, yes, you have to be a doctor, you have to be an engineer. It's how your life will be going on. It's what I learned and how I was practicing. This is what, but no one has taught me in my school time. Means I'm not saying, but I feel that in school level, they should be encouraged in a spiritual manner and in a transformational psychological manner of how to deal with things that we have to deal. Means like, see, how the photosynthesis will be helping me when I was in a breakdown. How will that help me out? It will not help me out. How I come up when I fall will be helping me up. And I will be transforming myself into something. Every breakdown in transformation, it's like every breakdown will be helping you into transforming yourself into a better way. So first impression, yes, it will be having some sort of impression on you in transforming yourself, but I don't feel that that would be a last impression in transform. You are in a process of transforming yourself. I may be learning some part of myself in this part of transforming myself, but it is not an end process. It was a ever learning process of how I discover myself. I how I continuously learn about myself, how I will be learning till the end of my age.
Thank you, ma'am. So we can just gather that first impression, like it's always said that first impression is the last impression. So we can conclude that first impression is not the only impression. It can definitely change through time. Uh, the next question is for ma'am Masha Malka, ma'am. Are you there, ma'am?
I think so she went for some meeting.
She's not there?
No, she's not around.
Okay.
She got emergency, so she.
If ma'am, Dr. Mitsu Chavda ma'am is there, can I just come up with a question for her? Dr. Mitsu Chavda ma'am?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, ma'am. The question is, as you are working on youth and women empowerment, how important is transpersonal development to give us a sense of empowerment?
That's a very good question.
Thank
I
you,
wasn't
ma'am.
expecting this. So, as we have already spoken, that it's all about our conscious mind and subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
And our empowerment is also dependent on them in a way. Like if we talk about it, when we talk about like along with our empowerment, transversal like connecting transversal development to the empowerment, it is also about the societal mindset that we talk about, right? And
Yes.
as we say, charity starts at home. The same way societal mindset, when we have to change, it also starts with us. We need to have some social modeling about having positive examples of transformation. We need to have some social norms. We cannot walk solo. Even when we talk about transversal development, we cannot like walk solo. It's all about united we stand and divided we fall. And the same thing goes for our mind too. And most of us, we these days, if we talk about empowerment or our personality development in general, not just transversal development but personality development in general, we are more about blame game, and we are not focusing on our own growth. So that is how transversal development is so much helpful to us, because it gives us what do you say, it gives us power over our mind, conscious mind and subconscious mind, and it makes us realize who we are and what change we can bring to the world.
Thank you, ma'am. Very well said, ma'am. And moreover, empowerment is realization of the strength within you. Once we identify, either we identify it ourselves or somebody else has to help. Somebody else has to help us out with it. So definitely, you being into youth and women empowerment can consider transpersonal development on a serious note. My last question is for Ma'am Fabiana. Ma'am, are you there?
Yes, she's around.
She's around. Ma'am, it's a very simple question. We just need a few tips for it, maybe from your own personal experiences. How to deal with egoistic people? We see so many egoistic people around us. How to deal with them? Hello? Sir, Interwoman, sir, ma'am is there? If she hasn't
Yeah,
gotten
she's
a
around.
question, I need to repeat it, sir.
Can you repeat the question?
I can repeat it. Ma'am, are you there? Fabiana, ma'am?
Oh,
Yeah,
Hello? Yes,
she's
ma'am.
around.
The question is how to deal with egoistic people around us, because even in this time of pandemic, people are unable to come out of their ego. They are unable to leave it.
I really
What
speak. I really speak for you, and I don't very well English, but I not
Okay, okay,
response.
ma'am.
But I think necessary speak for me for you.
Ma'am, I'll just type this question and give it to you in the chat box, and maybe we can have the answer later whenever it is convenient for you. But it had come from a speaker, so I have just put it, or like I had to present it over here. Sir, can we have one more question for uh, uh, Dr. Mitsu Chadha, ma'am?
Yeah, no problem, please.
Ma'am, are you there? Dr.
Yes,
Mitsu
yes, I
Chadha?
am here. I am
Ma'am,
here.
this is the last question, and then we'll just I'll just request Indra Bhuvan sir for proposing vote of thanks. Ma'am, the question is that like not everybody has a courage or determination to transform themselves or transform their trauma into spirituality. Like this was for Masha Malka, ma'am. As she's not there, I'm just putting it up for you. Like not everybody has a courage to a determination to transform their trauma into spirituality. So can you provide some simple tips to work on the path or to walk on the path of spirituality? We all feel the need of going into spirituality. So what tips can we actually follow to just begin with our journey?
To be honest, even I am not a spiritual person. I
Mm-hmm.
have never meditated. But okay, my spiritual story, if you say, it starts with the food. I am
Okay.
tensed, I would eat pizza. I am happy, I would eat pizza. So it's more about defining your spirituality. I might be wrong. Like I think this should have been directed to Dr. Ramya. But for me, like my spirituality is altogether on a different thing. Reading books is spirituality for me. Cooking is spirituality for me. Traveling solo is spirituality for me. Anything that gives me peace of mind and that boosts my self confidence, self esteem, and once my self-esteem, self-confidence is boosted, I get the courage to do things that I've never done before. So like, let people define their own spirituality. It's not always about religion or God, or something that is already predefined. This is my personal opinion, and I would like to stick by it.
Ma'am, very well explained. Spirituality is actually doing what you just do whatever you enjoy the most. What makes you happy.
Even
So if we are into it, we are into spirituality.
with,
Now, yes, sir.
no, I want to just add one thing.
Yes, sir.
Even
Please, sir.
Rania Lampa ma'am, even she never told means what is education or is specifically about predetermined things or predefined things. Whatever you think feel better, just do it. That is spirituality, and that is the nothing is what we read in the textbooks or NCRT, and that should be the part of life. No, whatever you feel better and you feel comfortable and you relax, just do it. That is the part of, I think, so, self transformation. I think so. We all are on the same page on this point.
Sir, can I have a question for Dr. Dr. Ramya Nalli, ma'am?
Yeah, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, because you are a doctor, so there was a question, but then as somebody had asked a question, so I had to raise that question first. Ma'am, being a
Yes,
doctor, you are having a direct experience dealing with the patients, and definitely you must have had bitter experiences also seeing people going. Like you must have had a direct like you must have faced it directly. So please give some tips to people in general on how to cope up with this pandemic and save their immunity and stay strong.
Yeah, actually,
So the doctor,
it's
whatever
all,
tips you can just.
yeah, sure. Actually, there are many viral infections in our world. It is not the first viral infections we are facing. In 2014 to 15, we have faced this swine flu, and we are quarantined for when I was in Tamil Nadu, means I was in Pondicherry. And in 1970, we have faced, when I was not born, we have faced, I have read in some documentaries, we have faced AIDS pandemic. And in 2000,
Great,
1900s, we
great.
have again AIDS pandemic. Yeah. So these all pandemics have happened so many times. This is not the first time we are experiencing. Why we are experiencing this as a panic attack? Because this is a new virus. This is a new virus. We are not just we are not prepared ourselves. That's all. If it is something, an old virus coming back and again causing things, we would not have been so much panicked like this. But one thing I can tell is that media plays so vital role in how we react. So media is full. I can show you that there are media that is promoting so much of good news, so much of good news, and there is media that is promoting so much of negativity. So it is our minds, we have to take what is necessary to us. You should not take all the negativity that is present around us and affect our immunity. So whenever you take a newspaper or see into your uses anything, you see, take only the positive aspects of the lives. And one thing I can tell today, India has risen to a most recovery recorded cases today, especially today, this date, most recovered cases in India. So that is a good news for COVID people. So we should not always promote negativity among others or whatever we are thinking. So just let us see, just we are using our cloth masks, something I'm saying, cloth masks we are using every day. I have seen people. Let me tell you, cloth masks will not give you protection. It is, first thing you have to use is N95. What is 95 is 95% of protection rate is present, and use of best quality. So don't go for cloth masks. I don't prefer that, because everyone is, I am seeing, these are the practical things research has shown. And use the sanitizers, everything, whatever they are saying is true. But how much we will protect ourselves is upon us, not cloth masks or anything. N95. How much it is depend on our mindset. And I tell people whoever come to me as a patient who have tested positive, don't get scared at first thing. It's just a virus. It will nothing do to you, and it will go away after 14 days. You will be surely tested negative. Just believe in that and be quarantined. That's all. Nothing to be worried about that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Meeta, if you don't mind, I would like to add something to it. And
Yes,
that
ma'am.
is that from tomorrow, people from age 18 and above are getting vaccinated, and so they should not get too overconfident that okay, now we are vaccinated, so the chances of COVID is less or null, and they should still support the government, and they should also go for this protection, as Dr. Ramya said, with the masks, sanitizers, and etc. And apart from that, whoever is not getting vaccinated, they should also donate their blood, because they would be unable to donate, is what we are hearing. So these are the small things that we can do for ourselves and for the nation in this pandemic times.
Thank you, ma'am. We are coming to an end of this webinar with such a beautiful message that donate blood before you go for vaccination. Now, I would like to call upon Indra Kumar Singh, sir, to propose a vote of thanks. And sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mitaji. Indeed, it was really fantastic session, very informative, and we all are very amazed by such kind of information sharing, knowledge sharing from all across our guest speakers from all across the world, from Greece, Brazil, Spain, Cameroon, India. So it was fantastic session, an informative one. And I would like to pay my hearty thanks on behalf of Devadit Foundation, from my team, Meeta ma'am, Makhan sir, Sweta ma'am, and myself, to all my guest speakers, my audience, for their valuable time and this wonderful presentation. And stay healthy and blessed, and please take care and get vaccinated whenever possible in your respective countries. And let's hope for the best. And the last message to all of us: be positive and keep positive vibes inside you, and spread same thing to all across the world. That is only the secret in this current scenario. So once again, thank you so much from my bottom of heart to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.